What up, friends? I'm breaking out, and today we're going to be reviewing the newest mini album by P1Harmony, Disharmony, Breakout. This is the second mini album by P1Harmony since they debuted back in 2020. As you might recall, Disharmony's standout really wowed me in terms of all the interesting production and variety of sounds, along with the confidence of all of the members. This album doesn't really reach those heights in my opinion, but it isn't necessarily bad. Instead, this album kind of opts for a more, modern hip-hop and trap rap sound, while the experimental moments serve support this time around. Scared is the big single and by far the best track on this mini album. It's also the most experimental as well. The harsh electronics and samplings lend themselves pretty well to the very rigid beat. The wobbling of the bass has a pretty aggressive flow to it that the members match very nicely. I think the lighter pre-chorus is a bit ordinary and also kind of out of place for a track like this, but it's over quick enough, so it doesn't really matter that much. The chorus largely follows in the same style as their previous single, Siren, in that it kind of is a bit similar to the verses, although with added emphasis on certain instrumentals and different flows to make it stand out. The bridge and outro combine many of the song's elements into a fitting anthem of sorts. This also suits the lyrics about being yourself and just not caring what other people think about you. Next up is Reset, and there's a pretty fun beat on this one. The lively background vocals mixed with the MIDI brass have a pretty hype sound to them. I actually think the flows on this song are among the best on the mini album overall too. The synth pre-chorus fits this song a lot more than it fits Scared, and I like that they actually managed to make a trap rap song have a bit of drive to it, a bit of a presence to it, if you will. There's a good combination of the delicate and harsher vocals as well. I also really like the angle that the lyrics tackle, trying to surmount an insurmountable challenge. Kind of compare it to a video game, actually, where if you fail once, you go for a different build, and then you try again, so I thought that was pretty clever and cute. There's a pretty dramatic opener to the next song, Pyramid, but I really love that slick, guitar-driven beat. It has a bit of an R&B edge to it, and I think the subtle electro flares have a nice contrast to the main instrumental. There's quite a few different sounds at play here, and I think the dramatic nature definitely permeates the chorus in a pretty cool way. The flows on this one are actually pretty similar to what a lot of Western rappers are doing these days, so it's nice that the boys have some versatility to them. Honestly, it might have hit a bit harder if they replaced the trap beat with something a bit more full and powerful, but it's not too big of an issue. I suppose the trap beat actually does fit the sort of dark theatrics of the instrumental and how the lyrics are talking about just fighting off people that are trying to tear you down. Now, it is an untold and unwritten law that any song that has the word Ayaya in it is one that I dislike, and Ayaya is no exception. This is unfortunately probably the weakest track on the mini. The beat is noticeably simpler compared to the others, and the random splashes of samples thrown into the electronic-focused chorus just doesn't really do much. I do like the glitchy effects that are thrown onto the samples here and there, and the boys' flows, they're not bad, but this song just doesn't really have any interesting layers that make you want to come back to it. It's far too bare bones, especially when we've seen what they can do with their beats on both the other tracks on this mini and their previous mini album. Next up we got End It. The harsh sort of static makes for a nice wall of sound actually, and the beat is perfectly heavy for this sort of track. The electronic influences feel much more at home on this one compared to the previous song, and the flows also glide off of the instrumentals much more seamlessly, especially during the chorus. Those swirling synths provide a sort of sonic cushion, I guess, that elevates the other aspects of the track. They also help give the track a pretty unique atmosphere as well. Good high notes, all of the members just seem to be in top form on this one. The anthemic nature of it also fits the lyrics about overcoming society's ills and how the youth are essentially creating a better future for themselves. Like the last mini album, a ballad closes out this one as well in the form of If You Call Me. Where the last one was a more trap-focused ballad, this one opts for a more contemporary R&B sound. It actually does sound like something that a SoundCloud crooner could come up with, especially with those delicate guitars and vocals while also keeping those darker tones. It also has that slight rap edge that the SoundCloud scene is kind of known for. It's not a bad song per se, although I think it lacks a bit of personality compared to songs like Scared and End It. Still, I suppose it is a welcome change instrumentally, and it still does have those good vocals. It has a place here. It's also a change of pace lyrically, being a sort of endearing love song, so I think that was pretty nice too. It's a pretty good mini-album for P1Harmony, continuing the sound that they explored with the last mini-album, if a bit less experimental and interesting. I feel the instrumentals took the biggest hit here. The flows and the boys' rap skills and singing skills, they're still really good. It's just that the beats don't have a lot going on this time around. I actually really think they should make a whole album kind of like Scare. That harsh, abrasive sound really fits the energy that they got, honestly. And the harsher rap verses also fit the sound really nicely. It can help them stand out, too. The trap rap sound isn't necessarily off-brand for them, it just makes them a bit less interesting, I think. There's definitely still some good stuff here, though, and I just hope this gives them the confidence that lets them go out and explore some crazier beats and instrumentals in the future. I'm feeling a light 7 on P1Harmony's Disharmony Breakout. Of course, we do have to talk about the album cover on this show, and this is a pretty good mini-album cover. It's largely the same as their standout mini, just opting for a different image on the cover with the hand reaching through the shattered glass. I actually prefer this image more than the busted CD that was on the first one. The color scheme is, again, really good, just black and blue with that harsh white with the shadows, but I think the hand with the shattered glass is a much more evocative image compared to the broken CD, so I feel like it does fit the more anthemic aspects of the mini-album. But those were my thoughts on P1Harmony's newest mini-album. What did you guys think? Did you actually like this one more than their previous one, or did you also feel their previous one was a bit more interesting and experimental compared to this one? Let me know. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Ring the bell. You know what I'm talking about. But until the next one, farewell.